Ralph, thank you for your dedication and service to teaching generations of young men at Regis Jesuit. It's truly remarkable.
Ralph, your love for literature is so evident in everything you do, as well as your love for the school and your commitment to students. Thank you for everything that you've given our department and the school in general. And I want you to know that you will always have a legacy and a place in the department, in our hearts. Thank you.
We love you.
Mr. Ralph Taylor, thank you for the 55 years of service, and especially thank you for the inspiration you've provided to all of us. I remember being a student in HIT Lit, the whole room quiet, 60 kids, just hanging on your explanations as they took our thoughts just to new levels. It was truly, truly inspiring, and when I think back on those teachers who made such a difference, who made me want to be a teacher, you are one of the first ones that come up every single time. So thank you personally, and thank you for everything you've been to Regis over the last 55 years.
Ralph, just want to sincerely thank you for your long-term contributions to Regis Jesuit High School. You know, we talked before about this, but as I think about my time as a student, my time in your class was a turning point in my maturation as a young man and my academic development. To be able to really dig into literature in a way that I'd never done before, and to be interested in it, which is something that I hadn't been before, really is attributed to the skill and the care and the grace that you taught with. And I know that you've done that for generations of students. In addition, the way that you've participated in our athletic programs, just been a support to your colleagues, your encouragement of me. I'm just really grateful for everything that you've brought to Regis Jesuit. I thank you and I congratulate you.
Ralph, Walls here. There's a lot of nice things I could say about you. You're the smartest dude I know. You're the most well-read dude I know. You've been a hero and a mentor to me, and pretty much everybody who, there's a group of us that just don't ever plan on leaving the classroom. And you're that mentor. You're the guy who showed up every day ready to talk to kids about whatever subject they needed to learn about. You always went into the classroom ready to bring your A game, and your A game was something, my man.
What you've meant in terms of school for the kids academically, and to them personally, all the interest that you've taken in them, it's just, there's no way to thank or to repay you for that. You've had just a phenomenal impact on people's lives. Personally, I want to thank you for the last 5 years. I've been doing this a while, but man, I'll tell you what, coming in and meeting you, not only meeting you, but having the opportunity to work with you for 5 years has really been incredible. To watch you work with kids, obviously you know the subject matter, but it's the interest that you take in kids, the compassion that you have for the kids, and the patience that you have is truly inspiring. You can challenge the kids, but you never do it in a threatening way. You always do it with compassion. And, man, I'll tell you what, I know this has been your home, and it's still your home. And it won't be the same for us if you're not back very often spending a lot of time with us.
I remember a couple years ago when I started teaching Dante, Ralph came up and just sort of asked me, what parts of it are you going to teach? And I had mentioned what we had done that day in class, and he started randomly quoting part of the passages in Italian. And I'm looking at him like, okay. And then he gave me like a 5-minute blurb that I still use to this day in the classroom of knowledge about what he had just said in Italian, which was over my head. And then he walked away, and then he was like still quoting it to himself. And I remember just thinking, like, how do I exist next to the kind of a mindset like this individual has? I wish I knew what Ralph knew. Also this year, one of my favorite moments of this year in the PC era pre-COVID was when we were having a spirituality morning, and we're going to one of our many breakout sessions, and Ralph led one on poetry. And I was lucky enough to attend. He was walking through some Hopkins poems, and as I had heard from many of his students and I had seen myself, there was this ability he has to calmly and quietly say these really intelligent things, but lead your mind into a place where you're contemplating and you're thinking very deep thoughts on your own. And within like 2 minutes of him going through the first poem and sort of the way that he phrased the questions and things that he asked and how casually he opened it up for us, like the whole room, you could just feel the depth that people were going to really think about this. And I walked out of that morning session, and really for the rest of my day and for many days after, I just felt like I was a little bit more thoughtful about things because of the way that Ralph had impacted me and my mindset. That was by far and away one of the greatest starts to a Wednesday morning teacher meeting that I've ever had, and I'll always be grateful for that.
I just want to say thanks for all of the conversations, all of the making fun of me about my werewolves and my vampires. Thanks for all of the advice and for hanging out with my kid when I brought her to school, for always asking about my family. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. And thank you.
Hi, Ralph. This is just a quick and wildly insufficient thank you. It's difficult to encapsulate all the things that you've meant to me over our time together the last 35 years or so, since I was a 16-year-old sitting in your Hit Lit class with Dan Sarlo, listening to you two lecture and make us laugh and teach us profound, deep things all the time. In fact, it was that experience, that Hit Lit experience, that, and in particular your part in it, that propelled me to be a literature and writing major in college, and then to pursue a career in teaching afterwards. I distinctly remember filling out my Alum Service Corps application when I was a senior in college, thinking, Ralph Taylor is the teacher that I want to be like. I want to be, knowledgeable about my content for sure, and just love the content and show that love. But I also wanted to be humble and caring, and to serve the students in ways that went beyond the classroom. So imagine my surprise and a whole lot of fear about a year later when I was there sitting in the English office in the old girls, in what is now the girls building, and you were sitting right across from me, and I was calling you Mr. Taylor still, and you were like, no, call me Ralph, please. I have appreciated most, I think, in my relationship with you, not just your love of literature and our conversations about literature, but I have really appreciated the way that you have encouraged me to think beyond what the literature is in a particular way and what it could be. And in some ways, that's how I want to teach as well, right? I still want to be a teacher like Ralph Taylor, and I want to inspire my students to do those same things, to think beyond what the is and what it could be. And I try to actually raise my own children that way, with a love of the content, yes, but also an exploration of the written word. My heart is full of fondness for our time together, and my soul is full of gratitude that you have been such a profound part of my life. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Take care, and God bless.
I hope that Ralph will forgive me a cliche, but when I think of Ralph Taylor, I think of John F. Kennedy in 1962 when he welcomed the Nobel laureates to the White House. Kennedy said, "I think this is the most extraordinary collection of talent, of human knowledge that has ever been gathered together at the White House, with the possible exception of when Thomas Jefferson dined alone." Ralph Taylor has intellectual abilities that are unmatched. More than that, Ralph Taylor has intellectual generosity. Ralph may disagree with you, but he'll want to have the conversation, and he's not afraid of having any conversation with anyone about any topic, and he wants to know what you have to say. Ralph is truly a generous colleague, and I owe him a lot, and more than that, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Congratulations, Ralph. 55 years at Regis Jesuit. That's incredible. I want to thank you for all of the many ways that you made our community a better place over these years, including your presence in my own son's life his senior year in AP English. Just want to let you know that your legacy at Regis Jesuit will live on for many, many, many years to come, and want to thank you again for your generous gifts.
I wanted to say thank you and to tell you how much I appreciate our friendship that we've had for so many years. We've shared basketball games together, football games together, soccer games together. I've always appreciated your insight. I've always appreciated your advice. I've always appreciated you as a friend. So I wanted to make sure and tell you how much I will miss you. I will miss the moments when you pop into my office and we share a story or two and you tell me about your dad, or you tell me about some historical reference to Regis or something that had an effect on you that will either serve a purpose in my life at some point down the line, or it was just a story about something that made us both kind of laugh. So Ralph, I will miss that. I will miss you. I'll miss spending time with you. The amount of time you've put into Regis and with our students and with our coaches, and the dedication you've shown is pretty much second to none. But Ralph, I just wanted to say thank you. I'll miss you. I love you, and I wish you the very best. And myself and my family will keep you in our prayers as we move forward. I hope to see you soon. Thanks for everything, Ralph. Take care.
Hi, Ralph. You once shared with me a reflection you wrote on the term magis, which is the root of magister and magistra, Latin words for teacher. We know that this M vowel soft G traces its foundations back to a force or power that human beings can connect with and use, obviously similar to words magic or magician. You've used this magic for 55 years to unlock playfulness with your students. The wiser you became, the more playful you were in the eyes of God. Thank you for all of your contributions to Regis Jesuit, Ralph. I'm grateful.
I don't know how in a short video to possibly say thank you for the service that he has been to Regis Jesuit. But personally, Ralph, when I first started there at Regis, I just turned 23. And from the very first day you were there for me, as a mentor and an advocate and a colleague, a friend. And I just want you to know that it's meant the world to me. I appreciate all the conversations that we have. I appreciate what you've done for thousands of students, which is teaching them that love of learning, and you've always said you want them to go out and make the world a better place. And you've done that in so many ways for so many teachers, so many students, and I just want to say thank you. It's hard to imagine Regis without you. Thank you for all your love and support over the years.
But I just wanted to say thank you to Ralph for all these years. I've known you since somewhere around 1985 when I had you as a junior in your American History and Literature class with Dan Sarlo. Wonderful memories of learning from you and being challenged by you. And I'm very grateful for that. But most of all, I'm grateful for having you as a colleague for these 25 years that I've been at Regis Jesuit. You've been a great help, a great role model. I've always appreciated the way that you have set your own professional development as a priority, and it's really served as an example for many of us to always continue learning and growing. And I'm very mindful of the many ways that you've helped me, both in the Latin classroom and even the Greek classroom, coming in as a guest lecturer often. but also the way you've served as a role model for what it means to be a religious seeker, someone who is always questioning and always striving to know more, question more, and find new ways to grow in your faith. For all of those things, and in great nostalgic gratitude for the many things that we've shared, that we've talked about, the banter that we've had, I'm very grateful. And I know that you've really earned this retirement after this long career, but know that you're going to be missed. So thank you very much, Ralph, and Godspeed.
I remember the first day I met you. You welcomed me just like I'd been there 10 years. And your continued support throughout this time for me and my family is so greatly appreciated. You know, one of the greatest marks a man can leave is that the place is better because he was there. And you made Regis better for all the kids. You made Regis better for me and the faculty and the staff. But most of all, Ralph, what I always remembered about you is you always put the students first. You always cared about them before you and before us. Thanks again for all those years. I'm going to miss walking by that English office, and that empty seat will always remember you. Bring a little smile and maybe even a little tear. So take care, Ralph. Stay healthy. Hope to see you soon.
I'd just like to thank you, Ralph, for all your years of service, mentorship, and stewardship of Regis Jesuit High School over the years. I appreciate your friendship. Really appreciate our conversations all through the years. So thank you.
I agree, Ralph. I want to thank you for the same, mostly for your friendship, my conversations with you and your encouragement and just your perspective on life and joy have really meant a lot. So thank you for that. So my favorite memories were team teaching with you and hearing you teach E.E. Cummings and also just being with you. So thanks for all of your work and all of your time at Regis, and I'm looking forward to continuing our friendship.
Ralph, I am so very grateful for you, for your wit, your wisdom, your friendship these many years, and for being in seminar for 14 years, taking your own free time, your own free period to make the journey with us. It's a privilege of a lifetime for me. As I think back to when I started in '95, the school looked a good bit different than it does now. It seems like we don't go too long without making some pretty significant changes. But through it all, nothing has changed. Regis is still the same place of inquiry, of pursuing the great questions, of love, of care, of teachers caring about teachers, of kids caring about teachers, of kids caring about kids. And I don't know that there's anybody who's more responsible for that than you. You've been the constant thread. Through all the changes, you've kept our school what it is. And I am incredibly grateful to know you, to be your friend. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Ralph, thank you for your generous and genuine friendship since the first time I met you as an ASC volunteer. Your willingness to share not only yourself, but your family with Sid and me has been a true gift over the years. Our time in our Christian life community, working football and basketball games, and all those evenings in the press box watching soccer have not only been formative for me, but truly life-giving. I'm so grateful to have you in our lives.
Ralph, the most important conversations I've ever had about poetry, about language, about the vocation of teaching have been with you in the English office. You shared stories and read poems aloud and looked up the meaning behind idioms and successfully avoided our grading for more hours than I can count, and I am so grateful for all of it. I remember observing you teach during my first year at Regis. You were discussing Portrait of the Artist as a young man with your college English class. You welcomed each student, respected his ideas, and allowed space for genuine discovery. After class was over, you told me that your goal as a teacher was to help students find the point of connection between the content, the world, and themselves. That's what you do, Ralph. You connect. Thank you for your companionship and for your service to our school. I look forward to our many more conversations together. I love you.